All right, we are on week 2. This week, I'm trying to profile the spokes. So right now they're very even and rectangular. I'm gonna touch them up and make them like nice and completely even, and then I'm going to try and shape the spokes into that concave kind of look. I'm sure there's a way I could scribe and measure it, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it perfect with the tools I have, so I'll show you guys what I've got and then we'll hop into it.
Now this isn't technically necessary, but I'm checking the poise at this stage. I have the spokes all fairly similar in size visually, and I'm just checking now where the heavy spots are. Now granted, this wheel is far from perfect, but if we have a clear heavy spot on the poise, which we will, and I can see that visually when I remove it, then I'll know to address that before we move on to contouring the spokes. But really what matters the most is the final poise. Check the poise overall. I just turned a very quick arbor and burnished the pivots, and we're going to have some heavy spots. The goal of these heavy spots is really to see where the wheel is visually uneven, because we'll be adjusting the actual poise throughout making the wheel. This is a very minor step and shouldn't be taken with too much precision. As it stands right now, it's not perfect. The poise is close, which will help eliminate errors as we shape these spokes. And they're pretty close visually, but as long as the poise is good at the end with the weights and posts and everything put on, I don't think we'll have many issues.
So I've got it set up in my vise like this, and it's a soft jaw plastic vise, so we're not going to be damaging anything. Now it is a small wheel, so we got to be careful not to press too hard. If you look closely, you'll notice 2 semicircles scribed in there, and that's the general area I've set to shape the contour. I don't want to go too close to either end, so I'm going to work within those confines, and this is just done by eye, by hand, visually, and I'm going to get them as close as I can, check the poise, adjust, and then move on to the finishing. So here we have around 45 minutes of shaping, and it's looking pretty good. I've given it a bit of a bevel to help visualize the final look. I might contour the spoke in a little more, I might just bevel it a little more, I'm not too sure, but I'm gonna get the other 3 closer to this shape and then go from there.
So here I've got it pretty well shaped. It'll look fairly similar, pretty accurate, maybe a couple adjustments here and there. Poise is not perfect, but it's within an allowable tolerance. It rocks back and forth for maybe 1 or 2 seconds instead of swinging like a pendulum, so that's acceptable. Some of my scribed marks were a little deep, so I've ground this down a little bit. So those are clean, and now this will be a good surface to give a clean finish to and then reshape my chamfers. I've got the spokes shaped pretty perfectly. I quite like how they look. Okay, I've got the rim filed down pretty good. There's no really perfect way to do this by hand. I've tried the Daniels method. I've got my little brass riser there, which is shaped to the thickness of the spoke, and that works okay, but at the end of the day, I'm doing this with files. That's all for this weekend. We got the spokes shaped, and we're going to work on the finishing and polishing next week. Overall, quite happy with it, and I'm excited to see how this turns out next week. Stay tuned.